Traveling around the country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King saying, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. Yeah. I feel it. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Red, what it do?
Give me 2 minutes. All right, I'm ready.
All right, you're live.
It's Tuesday, April the 8th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses. I'm hearing the music.
Rev, you live.
All pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, you can join the conversation and be heard nationwide, every state and every region of the country. All you have to do is call me at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. A lot is happening, and want to get right into it. President Donald Trump is being very obstinate about the tariffs that he wants to put on countries all over the world, including Europe and China. what is interesting is he's doing it at facing opposition from some people in his own party. And even Elon Musk said to the European Union he'd like to have a zero tariff policy. Well, Trump is dug in. Now, some commentators are saying that this is one of the few things that Trump is consistent on. He's been talking against the way tariffs have been set up and that we're not charging enough tariffs since the 80s, way before he got into politics. But the problem he's got is the markets have shaken. They have rebounded slightly amid this kind of global trade war. Global stocks recovered just modestly after some very sharp losses with indexes in Europe, Asia, and the U.S. Pre-market trading rising 1% to 3% despite continued tensions. Don't forget, China has vowed to fight to the end in response to Trump's saying now he'll do a 50% tariff on them. So the business community, even some that have come out for him, Bill Ackman, who we in National Action Network in New York have been marching on for over 60 weeks, he attacked Trump, saying this doesn't make sense. Jamie Dimon, the chairman of J.P. Morgan Chase, has attacked him. You got some senators saying they should not be able to deal with this without a vote. Now, this will disproportionately hit those of us in the black community that are living paycheck to paycheck and investing in our Social Security retirement plans, because your 401k is affected when the stocks are affected. So for all of the people that are listening that say, why Reverend Al talking about some business economics, talk about this, that, or the other, that relate to us. This does relate to us. If your retirement fund goes down, if your prices go up at the supermarket or online, if you are one that no longer goes to the supermarket, you have everything delivered, it is going to affect you. Now, I saw where Kamala Harris said that she doesn't want to say she told you so. Well, I do. I do want to tell you I told you so. I want to tell you over and over and over again, because I told you over and over and over again. I come on this show 5 days a week, my Sunday morning talk show on FM stations, and I speak on Saturdays. And it's broadcast live on radio and on cable television, the Impact Network. So I told you 7 days a week this was going to happen. The man is off the chain, and he doesn't have to run again. He can talk all of the stuff he wants about a third term. He knows he will not have a third term. He is going to do what he wants to do. And he, in my opinion, is going to go as far as he can and say, stop me. I'm going to go until y'all stop me. And until the Congress stands up and stops him, that's the only ones that can stop him, we are dealing with a runaway train here. That's why I say the only way to fight them is economically. We've got this countdown now. We're 18 days away to seeing if Pepsi will meet and change its pledge to end diversity. Otherwise, we go in there. We've done our boycotts and going to continue with Costco. People are changing from Target to Costco. And I'm talking about loyal customers are switching, because we have some pride. We have some integrity. So we're dealing with that. We're dealing with the backlash of Trump saying cancel DEI, and many of the companies did, which is why we put this warning notice on Pepsi. And then let me tell you how biased and backwards and racist this man is. The Park Service has rewritten the Underground Railroad story, downplaying slavery and Harriet Tubman. I can't make this up. The National Park Service rewrites history under the direction of Donald Trump. Park Service has altered its portrayal of this event. They're acting as if this was not what it was, the Underground Railroad. And they minimize the realities of slavery and racial oppression in favor of language emphasizing harmony and unity in alignment with the Trump administration's anti-DEI agenda. I mean, the Underground Railroad was to get slaves out of slavery. How do you find something harmonious and united about that? But if we don't resist, if we don't fight back, they will rewrite history. And they will have future generations not even know we worked 246 years and never got paid. Not even know that since the founding of the country, we couldn't easily vote in what was represented as a democracy. Didn't know. This is ludicrous. So let's talk about all of this and more. Whatever's on your mind, I'll take it today. But I'm certainly want to hear you on the tariffs, on Harriet Tubman, on whatever is on your mind. How they going to take the proposal they have out is $880 billion out of Medicaid, $880 billion in order to pay for their budget. If I don't have your attention yet, well, the rent man will have it. Let's take a break. Open up the phones. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Shopton. Keeping it real.
Get our best trained, best educated, best equipped, best prepared troops refuse to fight. Matter of fact, it's safe to say that they would rather switch than fight.
Another summer. Sound of the funky drummer. Music hitting your heart, cause I know you got soul. Hey, listen if you're missing, y'all. Swinging while I'm singing. Hey, giving what you're getting. Knowing what I know in. While the black band's sweating. In the rhythm I'm rolling. Gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey, our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. 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 We got to fight the powers that be. As the rhythm's designed to bounce with calcium that the rhyme designed to fill your mind. Now that you realize the prize arrives, we got to pump the stuff to make it tough. From the heart, it's a start, a work of art to revolutionize, make a change, something strange. People, we are the same. No, we're not the same, cause we don't know the game. What we need is a way.
Hey! We got to pay back. Revenge. I'm mad. Got to get back. squealing. I can dig rapping.
The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind, working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my temperament because my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anything. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make. Your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, The Rev Al, twitter.com, The Rev Al. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget to watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. And as I tell you every Tuesday morning, we get the weekend ratings, and you really watched the show this weekend. Big ratings both nights, and important guests, because we dealt with this whole importation thing. We dealt with the Medicaid cuts. We dealt with what's going on with DEI, while we've challenged companies like Pepsi that had made certain commitments that now have come out against DEI at the behest of Trump. And we dealt with all of that on the show this weekend. And we have a lot more coming at you with these tariffs and what it means globally. We did a segment, Sunday night show, about how Donald Trump, as president, has said that he would give refugee status to white Afrikaners, whites in South Africa, to come to this country as refugees. Now, this is at a time where people right in his hemisphere, I don't even have to go to Africa, in this hemisphere, he's not giving refugee status to Haitians. He's putting them out the country, to Mexicans. Now, he wants to make Canada, which is mostly white, the 51st state. He wants to own Greenland, which is mostly white. So you don't need a rocket science to figure out what's going on here. And that's why we talk about it on Politics Nation. Don't miss a week. I'm working already on having the right guests, as we do every week. And I won't waste your time. Then you that are in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally. Many of you, thousands of you, came to the National Action Network Convention. Now it's follow-up time. We're getting ready to do the March on Wall Street, August 28th, where we're going to challenge the whole corporate financial structure on the anniversary of I Have a Dream March in Washington. We usually go to Washington. We're going to write down. We're going to start at the African burial ground where they brought blacks from Africa. That was one of the two largest ports of bringing in slaves. We're going to start there and march a mile to Wall Street to tell them that this corporate world is going to have to deal with diversity. They're going to have to put their president in his place, or we are going to withhold dollars. March on Wall Street, you can go and sign up now saying, Reverend Al, I want to be one of the organizers of the march. And I want to be an organizer. Well, Reverend Al, how do I organize? Just start in your house. Organize the 2 or 3 people in your house. Say, we're going to the march in New York, August 28th. your block, your church, your sorority, your fraternity, whatever you a member of. That's how you start. People act like it's just, I'm not an organizer. Just start getting 2 or 3 people. That's organizing. We need to be able to do it. Dorothy Vaughn says, that's my birthday. I'm reading the comments on comment page. August 28th is my birthday as well. Well, come march with us. We'll sing happy birthday to Dorothy Vaughn. Remind me. So I want you at the rally Saturday that are in the tri-state area. You that are not can watch it live on Impact Television, which is the only national black-owned gospel network. Or you can watch it at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. All right, and again, you that want to sign up to organize for the march, sign up at www.nationalactionnetwork.net so we can give you reports, give you stuff to say, and things to do to organize people. I think it's very important. I think, again, I'm looking for you Saturday, and I'm looking for you to sign up for the march, and I'm looking for you to watch Politics Nation live on Saturday and Sunday. I get the numbers. Numbers don't lie. All right, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. I'm reading from, I don't know who this is from, wonder what my mentor, Reverend Hosea Williams, would think about Trump, a modern-day would-be Hitler. Can't wait to have you, Reverend Sharpton, back on my podcast, motivate my youngsters. Well, I'm glad. I don't see the heading where this came from, but let's work out going back on your. Okay, this is by Bishop Manning. Okay, Bishop Sherman Manning. I enjoyed doing your podcast. We'll do it again. And Hosea Williams, Hosea Williams, for you that don't know, and everybody should know, was the field director for Dr. Martin Luther King. He's the one that organized many, Birmingham, Albany, was with him all the way to the end. And though I was in breadbasket under Jesse Jackson, Hosea I admired, loved, would go around anytime I could. And the medallion that they always talk about, Sharpton used to wear a tracksuit medallion. The medallion was given to me by Hosea Williams. He would knight people with Martin Luther King medallions that he had made that he felt was in the King tradition. And I wore it all the time because if Dr. King's field director felt I was worthy of one of the King medallions, I wore it. They act like I was some rap singer or something with a medallion. That was a Martin Luther King medallion from Hosea Williams. So I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad his daughter and son-in-law and all keeps Hosea Feed the Hungry alive. We would not be where we are if it wasn't for Hosea Williams and James Bevel and Bernard Lafayette and Jesse Jackson and Ralph Abernathy. And I thank God every day, get on my knees in the morning and night, and thank God I met and was mentored and impacted by all of them. That's why ain't no backing up in me. I was raised in the movement, and I'm going to do it as long as I'm here. Let's take a break. Coming right back, I'm going to take your calls and read your messages. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Shopton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Sharpton, anyway. Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
That's when Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia, came to give Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who was pastor here now, that Ethiopian Coptic cross. That was my first hero in civil rights and politics.
As I know here, you're in trouble. Lawyer says about 30% are unemployed. That's why I'm working hard to get this surplus food here. Some of you say to me, well, I'm not like you. I'm not a congressman. I haven't got education. I haven't got work. But you're a human being. And you know what you've got? You've got in your hands the power to use your vote and to use even those few cents you get from welfare to spend them only where you want to spend them.
You're live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host. Keeping it real. Reverend Al Sharpton. Keeping it real. Let's go right to the phones. Let's go to Mr. White in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, WNOV. Mr. White.
Thank you, Al. Welcome out. Thank you, Reverend Sharpton. Can you hear me?
I hear you, yes.
Yes, sir. I was just calling to let you know that that movie, The Civil War, has been free ever since 22.
Yeah, I finally got the right one. I went and watched the documentary, and you told me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about the one that's up to date, where they had clearly show you what they're looking at right now. No, it is some kind of movie and brings all kind of thoughts. I'm glad you called and told me about that, and I'm glad you corrected me, because I was looking at the documentary. This is an action film, but it's in reality what happens. I mean, I started watching it on a plane, and where the young, and I'm not going to spoil everybody else, where the young girl ended up being with the photographer. I couldn't stop watching it. I'm standing up in the airport trying to say what's happening next and looking at the reality of what we're facing now. This is real.
Amen. Amen. This is RAL, and I shiver every time I hear something in your words, man. You called in, you're on it, and I don't know why these people, human people, are not getting it, that we need to join as a human race, not as a nation of Negroes, whites, Mexicans, whatever. We are a human race that he's trying to destroy.
We got the whole world. I mean, that movie is part of it.
Yes,
the whole world getting ready in the middle right now of a pending trade war that could easily turn into other wars. As people can't afford to live, people get desperate. You're already in the middle of a trade war. They are talking about upping goods to where people can't afford it. What's next? People are going to start doing whatever they do. We can't take this for granted. We got to stop this stuff. You're absolutely right, Brother White. Thank you for your call.
Sir.
And thank you for getting me to watch that. You really came with a big one. People ought to watch the movie Civil War and tell you that movie may be reality if we're not careful. Let's go to my dear friend, Miss Richardson in Chevy Chase, Maryland. My friend, Miss Richardson, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, good afternoon, my darling.
How you doing?
Oh, fine. I'm still kicking, Rev.
Well, that's all. As long as you kicking, we gonna keep ticking.
Yes, sirree. I tell you, I feel pretty good for my age. And, you know, Rev, there has to be some justice applied to the children and women. You know, I don't say men, you know, because men are responsible for the wars, you know, whether they are Arab, whether they are Israeli, Jewish, it doesn't matter, British. All of these Europeans are involved, and they're men who regulate the laws, not women, you know, really, they don't. Only wonder, maybe, you know, you may see a Pelosi or people like that, Speaker of the House, but the world is controlled by men, you know, mostly European, white races, very small percentage of the power you know, is given to people other than them, you know, because most of the power, they're controlling most of the power, most of the wealth. The Bureau of Engraving. Now, Rev, you know what the Bureau of Engraving is about, right?
Yeah, tell the audience, though.
Yeah, well, the Bureau of Engraving is the institution building there, right off of, I think it's down by 14th and, is it Independent? Somewhere down in there. I might be a little off. But it's a building there where they make, you know, where they make our currency. Mm-hmm. Our you know, our money, our living, you know, currency of how to live and to go about spending, the way of getting goods and services is through the currency that's made there at this site down there. Anyway, even that is controlled and power-based by European people, not Jewish people, but European, British type, England, those folks that came here with violence and did what they did to the Native Americans and the slaves and things, and to the blacks. So that's where all that's controlled. We have no control of that, and they're now controlling our money, our currency, the money we put in taxes, going into our Social Security base and everything. And, you know, they are controlling it. And like you said, Rep, it's very frightening. It's very scary because, see, I believe that the Congress and this Tea Party helped to get him in there. And so if we're going to keep saying, well, only the Congress can stop him, which is right, but Reb, they're not going to stop him because they're all in agreement with him. I believe, this is my only belief. Mm-hmm. I believe, Mrs. Richardson believes that they're all in tuned and in compliances with this man. You know, I mean, I don't see it any other way. And I think he's going to get his way mostly. I don't know whether he'll do everything, but I think he's going to get most of what he wants to be done. And, you know, and so a lot of people, if they're touched, they'll probably get the bulk of what they're getting cut back. They may get maybe 1 or 2% less, and what's that going to do? That's not going to provide them any way of living. So there'll be a lot of people on the street hungry, suffering, and they're saying that we already have children going to school not eating breakfast, they're not getting nutritious meals, and we just continue to have children on the street committing crimes and without any parental guidance. It's really scary because people it will become so web, I think, so where people will be so isolated from the streets because of fear. We will have ghost towns right in the midst of hearts of cities, nothing but ghost towns, because in a lot of businesses will probably close because people are not going to be going out to eat. Because I know the last time my daughter and I was out, we went to an IHOP, and my God, Reb, this was at night because we were traveling. And we stopped at this IHOP, and Reb, I never seen anything like it. My daughter said we shouldn't go in there, but you know, Mom is a little bit more persistent. I said, let's go in there. And when we got in there, Rev, you see blacks and Spanish, their mouths wide open, loud. They see seniors in there eating. They didn't care. Words came out of both these Negroes' mouths and these Spanish people's mouths. I mean, you couldn't say what they were saying. So I said, well, I'll take that back and give it a testimony to Rev, because I'm going to tell you, we are in a lot of shambles and troubles because with these younger people now, they don't even care about respecting seniors. And there were many seniors in there in this IHOP on the road where we were going to, out of the state. We were going up to New Jersey, and we stopped at this IHOP. And these Spanish and blacks were terrible. They had no manners, no behavior patterns, or nothing. And I said, my God, where's the manager? And I said, they see 3 or 4 other senior people sitting, trying to have their meal. And the management, they're scared to death. They don't say anything. They only care about the money that the Spanish are giving them. And the Spanish pays them very handsomely. They give them good tips. So what I'm saying, Reb, people are going to be rude and be unmannerly as long as you're being paid, you're given money. That's that's what's controlling everything, money. But anyway, I love you, and I'll try to call you Friday.
All right, thank you for your call, and I'll be looking forward. And, I like when Miss Richardson comes and gives a lot of that wisdom. And you can agree or not agree, but those that have been out here a longer time have the right to be heard and the right for us to consider what they're saying. Now, that may sound old school to some of us, and I've gotten older myself, but running around disrespecting our elders, as she's talking about in IHOP, disrespecting anywhere, is something that then carries over into your other kind of conduct. When you excuse our young people not regarding the presence of anybody any differently, that is the beginning of the psychological dismantling of our community, because you have no pillars in the community. The old don't deserve respect. Next, the property don't deserve respect. Next, what you do with those in authority doesn't deserve respect. There's a reason that black people that were oppressed, exploited, made into chattel slaves, couldn't read and write, illiterate, couldn't marry, survived all of that. Because the only way you could survive all of that is there had to be something strong in you, some self-respect, some kind of values that sustained you through that. And that's what we need to sustain us right now. Because what we're going through with Trump is nowhere near what we've been through. The problem is we have turned our back on what got us through worse. So we've become weak. And becoming weak makes people that are not as strong as you think they are appear strong. All right, let me take a break. I'll be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton, be right back. I had a thought this morning that I wanted to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others. The way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
Payback! payback. The big payback. That's where I live. Oh, for the big payback. The big payback. I can do wheeling. I can do dealing. Yes, you can. But I don't do no damn squealing. I can dig rapping. It's been a long time coming, but I'm
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Keeps it real.
Because you're raising things that you haven't thought out. There were slave rebellions that did. All right, then give me the answer. You haven't answered me yet. If you thought it out, give me the answer.
Asking the tough questions.
Well, see, here's the thing. I call him made a statement. Now you.
No, but I'm questioning your statement. You can question mine. You can question any statement I make. You can question any statement. Whoa. You can question any statement I make, but you cannot call here and tell me don't question the statement you make, brother.
Brother's gonna work it out. Be a part of the conversation. Just keep it real. Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, keeping it real. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You're live. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go right to the phones. Let me read some of the messages. O.G. Kelly writes on the message board, most African Americans don't have a copy of their birth certificate, and DOJ shutting down the government agency that provides birth certificates, making it difficult to achieve a birth certificate. And you know, OG is right. They're trying, Donald Trump is they that I'm referring to say you need to have birth certificate ID in order to vote. That's what he wants to make law. And again, Kamala Harris may hate to tell you I told you so. I am telling you I told you so, that he was coming up to voting. They're going from voter ID now today, you have to have proof of citizenship. Well, birth certificate, what are you going to do with a married woman? She wasn't born with her husband's married name. I mean, it is designed to disenfranchise. But you sitting up there talking about Trump got swagger. He about to swag you from voting, swag you from your Social Security, swag you from your 401k, swag you from what life you have lived that you say Democrats ain't done nothing. Well, when they take what the Democrats did give you, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, all that come from Democrats. Voting rights, all that came from the Democrats. What you saying, Reverend Al? We owe them everything? No. I'm saying what they did. They didn't do enough. Nobody says it more than me, but they did that. So don't say they did nothing. And then tell me what the Republicans did. Well, I'm independent. All right. Tell me what the independents did. I don't care what you are. Tell me what they did. If we are going to put a measuring stick on one, put it on all. And I think we must do that. Brenda Foster writes on the message page, I am renting a hall. I'm renting a hall to inform young people how we need to organize. I cook, and I took some desserts to an inner city car wash. The men so appreciated it. We as blacks need to show love. I love that. I love that. I love that. I don't know where you are, Brenda Foster, what city you in, but that's a good thing. You need to get in touch with us. I would support something like that, National Action Network, as we go down to this August 28th march. Let me go to Jerry in Cleveland, Ohio. Jerry, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello.
Hello there.
One of the things I noticed, I want to make two comments. One is I was listening to Keith Olbermann podcast. I love listening to podcasts. And he made a statement, and he was talking about the things Donald Trump has done. And basically what he said was the things he's done is exactly what a Russian asset would do. Cause us to doubt our democratic system, divide the people among themselves, get us out of NATO, have us getting these tariffs going and messing up our economy. He's doing exactly what a Russian asset would do. I don't see any different. Do you disagree with that?
I mean, the things that you outlined, obviously I haven't heard Olbermann's podcast, but what you mentioned, I agree with. Now, there's more. The reason I'm being careful, somebody said, yeah, but he said da, 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 and Sharpton agreed. I'm agreeing to what you said he said, yes.
Well, the other thing is, you notice now people are talking about anti-Semitism.
Right.
Anti-Semitism. When the Asians were being attacked, people talked about that, rightfully so. Why do I not hear these politicians talk about how we're treated? Are they treated any worse or as bad as how blacks are being treated?
Well, I think it's a good question. And I think my question is, why aren't we talking more about it? One of the reasons that they talk about anti-Semitism is Jewish leaders, Jewish politicians, Jewish people stand up and scream. Asians, same thing. We talk about, protesting ain't gonna do nothing, marching ain't gonna do nothing, saying nothing. We need to be standing up for ourselves. I don't blame others for standing up for themselves. I blame us for not standing up for ourselves. Do you know, I covered on the weekend on my television show, the hands-off marches all over the country, from against deportation, against them cutting these jobs and all that. I didn't see a lot of black people in them, and we are disproportionately the victims of this.
I think what happens with a lot of black people, and I'm not saying it's right, well, in a way it is. They feel like they're only consulted and people come to them when it's time to vote. But I think part of that has to do with we have to start putting pressure on them.
I think you're right, but if somebody's having a march saying hands off federal jobs, and you got a federal job, they ain't coming to you to vote. They coming to you about your job. When I'm talking about August 28th going to Wall Street to put the private sector on, I ain't asking nobody to vote. I'm not running for anything. So I think that I think you're correct. A lot of politicians only come when they want our vote. But when people that don't want nothing from you but to stand up for yourself, they should not be painted with that broad brush. I agree with you, and I understand people feeling that way. But that's why I'm trying to challenge them. Wait a minute, everybody's not asking for your vote. Every preacher ain't asking for you to put some in the collection plate. Some of us is asking you to stand up because we understand if all of us don't stand up or more of us don't stand up, we all at risk. I ain't even doing it for you. I'm doing it for my grandson and my children so that they will be able to benefit after I'm long gone.
I have to say one thing, though. It's kind of funny. When you brought up that you might do a boycott of Pepsi, my friends laughed at me because I'm always drinking some Pepsi. I guess I have to switch to
all right,
Coke.
yeah. Y'all, at the board, y'all remember to keep Jerry there. So if they don't come to terms in 21 days, Jerry gonna be our first call on there. Say, Jerry, you got to give them up, Jerry. You're not in the Pepsi generation no more, Jerry. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, I'll give it up.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz, to Ozzy. Ozzy, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir, Bishop. I'm going to try my best to keep it real. And by saying first, I met Reverend Shuttlesworth twice. And both times I was there, when I met him, I tried to assist him. And that's how I feel about the black community and our leadership. And you, of course. So, but right now, all I'm trying to do is communicate with our people that a Democratic Party that isn't going after black men's vote is bound to fail.
Right.
It is. We had 37% black eligibility to vote in 24, but only 14% of us voted, and most of those were women.
Right.
Now, during Obama's 2008, look at what happened. The rate of graduation for black men in 2007 was 47%. Then we had a black man run for president, and we came out and voted at the same rate that black people did based upon population.
Right.
We voted at 65%. And for those next 8 years, the graduation for young black men rose to 81%. Since then, since we didn't have a black man to vote for, and some of us decided to stay home, many of us decided to stay home, not me, because I was bound and determined to get our dear Vice President Harris to become president. I did my best and I fought hard in the ways that I could. But since 2016, the graduation rate for black men has fallen almost 10 points.
Yeah. New York Times broke that the other day with the data. You're absolutely right.
And so it is imperative that the Democratic Party seeks the black man's vote. And they're not doing that when they're ignoring the needs of our community, because when black men vote, they vote for the interest of our community, and our community is better because of our vote. Thank you, Bishop.
All right, thank you for your call. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton, 1-877-532-5797. Be right back. Country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song, and I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief, all we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but He looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you.
and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 smile on me.
Now then the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God, smile on me. He has set me free.
And I know all over the country,
Smile on
we
me.
need jobs.
Been so
We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there.
Lord, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down.
And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God
Has smiled on me. He has set me free. Like me say, yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord.
it's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer.
You're live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to New York to ZMP. ZMP, you're keeping it real. Keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
How you doing? I've had a good time, Dr. Al. You know I am. I had a good time at the convention. I just wish you can do it more than just once a year. I mean, that was so beautiful, and all the people coming together. And I understand you want another building. We have a building that's available for you, but I don't want to tell you where the location is. It has free parking. It has a big parking lot, and you can put a sky roof on all the space that you have that you use at the Sheraton. You can do that in your own building, this building that's available.
All right, well, I'm going to have somebody get your number. Hold on when you finish your comment so we can try to talk.
I called a couple of times ago, and nobody called me back. And I want to know, how's Patrice doing? Is she okay? I didn't see her there.
Y'all get his number so we can call him back. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Demetrius.
Speak briefly. Bomb that ran over the summer, and also the United States attacks on rebels in Yemen. And also, I'm curious about what Netanyahu spoke on with Donald Trump beside the tariffs yesterday. To me, if it's going to be a one-sided, belief when it comes to the talks with Iran, it's probably won't be too fruitful. And I believe Donald Trump can't sit at the table with Iranian representatives as a form of intimidation, because he already said, if Iran doesn't agree with the United States, it's going to be dire consequences for Iran. To me, you have to come to the table open-minded and not one-sided, and also give Iran, a sense of they won't be attacked again by Israel. There have to be even negotiations. And also, I want to speak on Supreme Court decision concerning giving the Donald Trump administration the okay, to deport the immigrants. I believe, even though they should be allowed a hearing now, but I don't believe they should be sent to El Salvador, to that prison. I believe they should be sent back to the country they came from. That's if they are here, illegally, they don't have their papers and so forth. And also, they can't just automatically sweep people up.
Yeah, I think you raise an interesting point, Demetrius, because the reason that we're told that they are sending people to El Salvador is because they have that prison there that's supposed to be extremely punishing. You sleep on like cold slabs. They don't give any kind of coverings. It's all kind of brutal, and this is supposed to be one of the most brutal prisons in the world. Well, I don't think that even people that commit crimes, and I think people who commit crimes should be incarcerated, but not treated inhumane. So I think you're right about sending them back to the country they came from. But then when you do send them back and find out you're wrong and you have no way of getting them back, that is absolutely outrageous. You're talking about this man that they've now admitted days ago, if not a week ago, they made a mistake. He shouldn't have been gone, and they have no way of getting him back. So what kind of agreement did you have with El Salvador that you didn't have in case there was a mishap? It must be immediately remedied, and you're paying El Salvador.
That's true. That's true. Because this administration seems to have the mindset. They don't think ahead. All they know is what they want to do when it comes to cutting jobs to different agencies here, and when it comes to sending immigrants out to other countries. They don't think about the consequences, or they don't care. They just want.
They don't care.
What they have.
Yeah.
They don't care. And a lot of innocent people fall to the wayside who suffer. But all their concern is about, maintaining their position, maintaining their wealth, and maintaining, their goals. Because when I look at Greenland and Canada, like you said, there's a majority Caucasian, but at the same time, there's a lot of resources in Greenland and Canada.
Right.
So they really want to exploit the resources, the oil and the minerals that's in both of those countries.
Oh, no doubt about it. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. So they really have a two-pronged agenda. It comes down to money, and it comes to, the belief in this country, especially with Donald Trump, when it comes to racism. Because when I look at the tariffs on China, why put such a heavy tariff on China? I believe because it is an Asian country. It's Asians there as well.
If you black, brown, or red, then they are. White supremacist is against anything that's not white. Somebody wrote me, I think, on this message board. I wanted to address because that comes along with it about our standing up for everybody else, but they don't stand up for us. But let me tell you something. We not standing up for us. When I tell people that we want them to march August 28th or march for any of the cases that we marched for, go to Washington, that's for us. And a lot of people don't go for us. And when I'm saying that I didn't see a lot of black people in the hands off over the weekend, I wasn't saying go out there and march for everybody else. We are the ones losing the federal jobs disproportionately. So a lot of us, I think, Demetrius, I was talking to a guy once who had that same attitude, man, I don't march because don't do nothing for us. I said, well, first of all, and I named all the marches and what it had led to for us. And I said, but let me ask you a question. What marches have you ever been to? I ain't never been to a march. I said, well, how you giving up something you never did? That's like me giving up figure ice skating. I never have. I mean, how do you know the power of a march, just the coming together, the communal power of a march, if you've never been to one?
Yeah, that's true. So they don't have that experience, so they can't criticize it, because I think as a people too, sometimes, we get involved in little petty stuff, but when things hit the fan, then we get concerned. But we have to be, up to par on things before things get serious. We have to be in touch, with current events, what's going on with the economy, what's going on in our communities, what's going on in the Supreme Court. Because those who want to take away our benefits and our rights, they always on tilt what they want to do.
Right.
They constantly there watching, just like animals on the prowl. They constantly looking for a prey. So we have to always be aware, that we're under attack by those who want to take away our benefits. They want to preserve.
And they are telling you that they want to take it away out loud. Donald Trump saying it out loud. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Dorothy Barnes says to me on message, every 24-hour store is by the immigrants, and I believe they have weapons in their holes in the floor just in case a war do break out, and it's like we are surrounded. Well, I don't know what hole they got in the floor, what weapon, but these folks have drones and stuff that blow up blocks. Your little gun in the floor of your store ain't gonna help you when they got bombs that blow up 3 and 4 blocks at a time. That may be what they think, but they better think again. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton. Be right back. The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind, working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my temperament because my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anything. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make. That's when Haile Selassie, Emperor of Ethiopia, came to me, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who was pastor here now, that Ethiopian Coptic cross. That was my first year when civil rights and politics gathered.
As far as I know here, you're in trouble, where it says about 30% are unemployed. That's why I'm working hard to get this surplus food here. Some of you say to me, well, I'm not like you. I'm not a congressman. I haven't got education. I haven't got work. But you're a human being. And you know what you've got? You've got in your hands the power to use your vote and to use even those few cents you get from welfare to spend them only where you want to spend them.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream.
Yet our best trained, best educated, best equipped, best prepared troops refuse to fight.
Matter of fact, it's safe to say that they would rather switch than fight. Another summer. Sound of the funky drummer. Music hitting your heart, cause I know you got soul. Hey, listen if you're missing, y'all. Swinging while I'm singing. Giving what you're getting. Knowing what I know in. While the black band's sweating. In the rhythm I'm rolling. Gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. 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 We got to fight the powers that be. As the rhythm's designed to bounce with calcium that the rhyme designed to fill your mind. Now that you realize the prize arrives, we got to pump the stuff to make it tough. From the heart, it's a start, a work of art to revolutionize, make a change, something strange. People, we are the same. No, we're not the same, cause we don't know the game. What we need is a way.
My ace Boone Coon, my man in Chicago on the west side, he declares it's the best side. Frank, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
As always, Reverend Al, my pal and our pal. How you doing, Rev? I know you're doing great.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Yes, you are, brother. Your convention was outstanding. I've heard so much about it, Reverend Al. I'm pledging I will be at the next one. This my situation here is just about wrapped up with a brand new car. I'll be at the next one. That's a pledge and a promise to you, brother.
All right, I'm going to look forward to seeing you. I'm going to look forward to seeing you.
Someplace else. I heard them call in and say, wish you can bring here, wish you can bring that. I don't blame them. Wherever you're going, I'm going to be the next one, okay, brother?
All right.
Okay, let me do an update real quick on one of our Did Y'all Know This, a segment, because I don't forget about them. I'm pretty sure a lot of us haven't forgot about them. This is a Social Security resource that's been available to us, you guys, for decades. We didn't know about them. Well, one was called the Social Security Survival Benefits. That's for minor children who have lost one or both their parents to death, you know what I'm saying, due to death for whatever reason, right? The red carpet is waiting there for them. Everything from universal health care to universal education and basic guaranteed income. But the change has been now they got 2 years after the death to file for it. They still got from birth to the last day of the 18th year, but they got to do it within 2 years of the death. So if you've been procrastinating, they changed that, and I think Republicans had something to do with it. This is one of the reasons why the Republicans want to get rid of Social Security. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of programs in it that we have not been aware of, but now we're waking up to them. Reverend, now the meat of my conversation, of my topic is, you know something, Rev? I understand the doom and gloom that Donald Trump has put on this country. I understand the evil that has been cast on us. But y'all missing something. Donald Trump, wow, he has presented us with some outstanding and great opportunities, Rev. Wow. We need to recognize this, you know what I'm saying? This man has, I'm just giving you a few. There's several of them. I'm getting some good ones. Donald Trump, you guys, as right as he is, had presented with a grand opportunity to take both houses of Congress in 2026. Y'all see the millions out there. Just like we called it, Red, them millions out there, their hands off marching rallies, them not just Democrats, the Republicans and independents too.
That's right.
Okay, it's time to get. Am I right or wrong, Rev?
You're absolutely right. You're 100% right.
He has presented a great opportunity to take both houses of Congress next year, in 2026, yes, next year, hands down. And now we have the opportunity to convict him in the Senate after we impeach him in the House. Because King Jeffries will be Speaker of the House when we do this. We just got to make the right moves to do it, and it needs to be done. Donald Trump, you guys have presented with a great and outstanding opportunity, people, believe it or not, to run candidates now on the platform with the damage they done, universal health care, universal education, universal basic guaranteed income, to prepare the damage that this man is doing, and they're not finished with the attack on DEI, affirmative action, which is actually telling institutions of education and employers here in this country, it doesn't matter that you are operating in a country that's comprised of diverse communities. You do not have to have a diverse student body. You do not have to have a diverse workforce. This is insane, okay? Well, since you're going to make it harder for people of color to obtain jobs and take care of themselves and go for life, liberty, and happiness, then we're going to give a universal basic guaranteed income to make sure that they don't turn to a life of crime. Last but not least, I'm going to hop out this. Donald Trump has given us a most grand opportunity, you guys, to capture our government and crush voter purging and voter suppression. Not suppression, we can do it anyway. When I meant to say voter purging and the challenging of votes by this right here, federal law, you better be right. Because if you're not, you as a state, you can be fined, you can be sued, we can withhold funds, whatever the case may be. But the voter challenging revenue out, just like Sister Pam said, there's one lady, and you know Elon Musk is behind this. This one lady came out bragging about how she challenged over 34 to 35,000 votes. Okay, Reverend, now I can't even name 34, 35,000 people I know. So you know this is all nonsense. But you know something? If she knew that you wrong about either one of these, each one of these that you was wrong about, that comes out and prove that I do live here. I am alive. What is she talking about? That's a 5,000 on the side. Let's see how quick they be willing to go up in there and challenge vote. Let's see how quick state want to purge 100,000, 500,000 votes for the election. This state can be sued. That's how you handle this, Reverend Al. But we got to take it step by step here.
Yeah.
We got to keep going with it. Got to keep going step by step. Let's get both houses of Congress. Let go after Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Let's put Hakeem Jeffrey as Speaker of the House. But we got some great opportunities waiting for us, y'all, and we play our cards right.
And we must put, and I love what you said, and we must put strategy with energy. Just having energy and no strategy is not going to make it happen. We got to do it. You're right. Let's go to RT.
That's right.
All right. Thank you. Let's go to RT in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call, Reverend Sharp. Just two quick comments. The first is Sister Eunice up in Chicago at 91 plus years of age. She knows more about what's going on in the government and Congress than the people who actually are in Congress.
You got that right. You have that right.
I listened to her talk, and I'm like, wait a minute, she can't be 91 plus. She knows, everything that's going on in the government. So I put that's number one. The last point is that you mentioned Trump removing I just read it where he removed the image of Harriet Tubman off of the National Park Service website. So on one hand, he can do that, Reverend Sharpton, but on the other hand, like I mentioned a couple of months ago, he bought back in the portrait of Andrew Jackson, the one who signed the Indian Removal Act. So how are you going to remove one person who did one thing, but you're going to bring somebody else back into the office and put him in the Oval Office who's responsible for 6,000 something Native Americans dying? Don't make any sense. But let me ask you a question before I get off. Why do you think Trump is removing everything that's got to do with race from off of the American landscape?
I think,
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, wait. I was going to ask you, why do you think he's trying to whitewash and just remove, Black history and images and just anything that's got anything to do with race? He's trying to remove it. It's like he's trying to clean up a crime scene that's been committed.
Well, I think that the immediate answer is, if he can erase slavery, erase what the Underground Railroad is about, erase Harriet Tubman, erase racial discrimination, Jim Crow, all that we went through, then the public will say, well, what are they demanding diversity and equity for? They're Americans. They always been here. Nothing happened to them. We ain't got to do nothing. You did do something special to us. That's why you got to do some special repairs of what was done. So DEI, what we're fighting now, what we're raising with the Costco boycott, what we're threatening Pepsi with, is based on the fact that y'all are making up for what y'all did. Y'all discriminated against us. Y'all let us not, you did not let us have the same public accommodations, couldn't get the same bank loans. You got to make up the gap you did. If he takes the gap out of the books, RT, and the kids will grow up my grandson's age, not knowing the debt that's owed to us. So some of us talking about reparations, and I've been supportive of that for the last 40 years. There is nothing to repair if they take it all out of the history books. And that's why he's taking it out. He can't let them know the truth and then cut all these things out of us. Thank you for your call.
Yes, sir.
Let me go to Rufus.
We're going to take a break.
Let me take a break. I'll come back to you, Rufus, Alicia, Raj, Chris, Sarah, all of you. I'm coming back. Keeping it real. Shopton, be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
and
a race baiter.
Yeah, right. I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go. It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network for always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Sarah in Washington, D.C. Sarah?
Reverend Al, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I was watching Politics Nation on Sunday, and the South African white refugees that they want to bring over here.
Right.
Is that legal?
That's a good question. I would assume that it is legal for the president to give them refugee status. But I would hope, and that's one of the reasons I put it on the show, and thank you for watching Politics Nation. I'm wondering, members of the Black Caucus or one of the 3 black U.S. senators going to challenge their refugee status. I do not know. If they being the white Afrikaners farmers, if they're leaving South Africa because there's a mostly black government since '94 with Nelson Mandela, I was over there for the election, then what does that mean that they get refuge? They're taking refuge from what? From a democratic process? What are they taking refuge from?
I don't know, but it sounds like it's because they're becoming extinct. White people are becoming extinct, you know?
And I think that is why I put it on. And I don't understand why there's not more outrage than we've seen. Absolutely right. But thank you for your call. Let me go to Alicia in Seattle, Washington. Alicia.
It's a pleasure to talk. Once again, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
I like that suit you had on Sunday too.
Thank you.
I was calling to talk about black people and due process. The hands-off march, that was not about black people.
Yes, it was. It was about black people. Just black people wasn't there. When you talking about government jobs and deportation, we are in that. Black people need to understand that we are more disproportionately in these federal agencies working in Washington, D.C., and in government agencies around the country. Now, white people call a march, and whites were marching, but we are losing the jobs disproportionately more than them. Deportation includes Haiti, which is black people.
Okay, due process. I've been hearing a lot about that lately. Why are they jumping over black people to give immigrants due process.
What immigrants are they giving
giving
due process? What immigrants are they giving due
There's a lot
process?
of black people in prison.
Wait a minute, wait,
Right
Alicia.
now,
Ho. What due process are they giving immigrants? They are shipping people out of here that shouldn't be shipped out of here. They didn't get due process.
But black people, they've been doing that to black people.
No. Alicia, you know I ain't gonna let you do that. You made a statement. Back it up. What due process are they giving immigrants? We don't have to be anti-immigrants to be pro-black. Some blacks are immigrants. You try to pit us against each other, talk about the people doing us wrong. Immigrants ain't bothering us, and they're not getting due process.
Okay. It's just interesting. Did all these black men that have been killed by the police, did they get due process?
No, no, they didn't. And nobody has fought them more than I have. But I'm not going to say that wait a minute. Okay, let me go to the next call. Because you're right about the black men, and that's why we fight the cases. But I'm not going to say the immigrants are getting due process because I'm mad about black men. They're not getting due process. They got this man in jail in El Salvador now. They shouldn't be there. We do not have to be anti-somebody else to be pro ourselves. We need to be for what's right for everybody. Then you can challenge everybody to be right for us. But you can't ask people to be on our side when you're talking about things that they're not getting. They are not giving immigrants due process.
Well, black people come first.
All right. If that's how you feel, that's your opinion. But all I'm saying is, wait a minute, Alicia. All I'm saying is that we argue as a community about nobody's on our side. Then we going to get on the radio and accuse other people of something that's not true. And then you going to yell black people first. Fine. So if a white progressive called here and said white progressive first, we'd have a fit. I mean, of course, everybody's going to be committed to their own as a primary source, but that ain't necessarily the Holland School. What is the point of that? Thank you for your call. Let's go to Rufus in Georgia. WAOK, Rufus.
Refresh your page.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I got to refer. Let me go to Raj. We done, Rufus. Wait a minute, I got my co-host on. The senior pastor of the First Corinthian Baptist Church of Harlem, member of the National Board of National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron. Reverend Walron, how you doing today?
Pretty good today, Rev, and I listened to your exchange just now.
Right.
Between the caller. What I don't think we realize is how old this strategy is of divide and conquer.
Right.
It's an old strategy, and you pit people who experience oppression, and now we want to have conversation about who's the most oppressed, which keeps us focused on one another, then focus on the person who's creating this reality for us.
Right.
At the moment. It's insane, Rev.
It is, and it's insane, it's bad strategy, and it's wrong. You cannot call on people to have the moral aptitude and commitment to fight against the racism against us, but I don't care nothing about what happened to you.
Absolutely. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute because you can't. That's what being a human rights activist means.
Right.
It means you transcend the parochialism of your own issue to think about the issues that others are dealing with. There's no way I could, in good conscience, right now, talk about immigrants got preference when we see what's happening across this country right now.
Exactly.
You got people being sent away illegally. You have people being an accident. You accidentally send someone to one of the worst prisons in the world, right?
And say you can't get them back.
And can't get them back because of some deal you struck with the president. Like, this is insane. So I can't then get on the phone and start saying, well, they should put us first. Wait a minute. If we're all experiencing this backlash and we're seeing the backhanded nature of these policies, we all are suffering. But if we're going to be down here fighting one another while those who are creating these policies, who are reinforcing these policies, we let them off the hook because we now want to argue who catching it worse. It's a waste of energy.
That's right. That's right. Let me read from our message page, Dolores V. Seals. Tell the female caller like it is, Reverend Sharpton, Reverend Al, the immigrants aren't receiving the due process they deserve. That's just a fact. This man down there that you referred to, Dr. Walron, in El Salvador jail with a wife here 8 months pregnant. I mean, how we human rights activists in not saying that's wrong? And we act like that didn't happen. It's happening. Let's go to
absolutely.
Let me say this too. Out of all of the good reviews and feedback I got out of the convention, and I thought it was one of our best. The ministers panel with you got a lot of attention. They say y'all ripped it.
Oh yeah, we had a good time. I mean, it was a good conversation, and it probably could have gone on and on, but we had a really good time. Good questions, and our chairman, Dr. Hillary Franklin Richardson, did a great job moderating it. But it was a great convention, man. I had a good time, and the attending it, so I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, I thank you, and I think it was well attended, probably among the best. And the thing is that, we've had President Obama there when he was president twice, and we've had the vice president there when Biden was vice president and Biden was president, and Kamala. We didn't have no super names like that, and we had as big a crowd or bigger than we ever had, which is good, important. 38 of our states with their chapters, because we build an organization. This ain't people coming star searching. And I think that is what's important, that people, they have big names, that's where they get people. Well, there wasn't no, Patti LaBelle, all right, but there wasn't really a lot of big names. It was established names, people that have done things in our community and country, like Dr. Richardson, like you, like Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. Those are not, people that you pay a ticket to see Madison Square Garden, but they're solid, and that's what we try to build.
Right.
Let me take a break. I'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Walron, be right back.
I was going to bring you on. Now we're ready for the sermon.
Well, welcome, Reverend Al Sharpton.
I think it's clear where we are. The real question is what we're going to do about it. The only question is whether we going to get up and do what we supposed to do. They never knew what a cell phone was. They took a telegraph machine and a rotary phone and broke down the walls of apartheid. And we're sitting here with Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and 2 cell phones in your pocketbook talking about what we gonna do. Something is weak and wrong with us. If we got 17 ways to communicate and they only had one way, yet they could pack out rallies every night. They could shut down bus companies. You got 17 ways, got 4 different cell phones, and can't get 5 Negroes together for a meeting. And we must have the self-respect. This ain't about whether you are militant or a moderate. It ain't about what organization you. Do you have enough respect for yourself that you're not going to treat me like this? We built this country. We shed blood for this country. We put it on our back. You're not going to do that to us in 2025.
It's been a long time coming, but I know.
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed
your dreams today.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al.
Best equipped, best prepared troops refuse to fight. Matter of fact, it's safe to say that they would rather switch than fight.
Another summer. Sound of the funky drummer. Music hitting your heart, cause I know you got soul. Hey, listen if you're missing, y'all. Swinging while I'm singing. Giving what you're getting. Knowing what I know in. While the black band's sweating. In the rhythm I'm rolling. Gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. 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 We got to fight the powers that be. As the rhythm's designed to bounce with calcium that the rhyme designed to fill your mind. Now that you realize the prize arrives, we got to pump the stuff to make it tough. From the heart, it's a start, a work of art to revolutionize, make a change, nothing strange. People, we are the same. No, we're not the same, cause we don't know the game. What we need is a win.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
You're live, Rev.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron is our co-host. Reverend, let's go to Christine in Manhattan, New York.
Hello. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello, Reverend Al. Thanks for taking my call. Listen, I'm all over the place, but I really called in because the young man, I think from Chicago, was said about the Medicare benefits. And it just took me back to my life. I'm originally from North Carolina. In 1961, Reverend O.B. Burson baptized me.
I knew Burson.
I know. In they had the poll tax in North Carolina when they voted. My mom and dad owned nothing. We lived on the good white man's property. He made it possible for my mom and dad to vote that year. And my mom, I know my mom voted for Kennedy, and that's why I'm a Democrat. And every time I hear Kennedy, every time when I think about what that nephew is saying, it bothers me.
It bothers me
But
too.
I want to really talk too also about. I married my husband in 1975. He was a sergeant in the Army. We moved to Fort Hamilton in 1976. I remember when Ronald Reagan and George Bush said, I don't remember the wording, but it meant the soldiers couldn't stay in the Army, and they couldn't stay in the Army and get a check for life. My husband, someone in the Army, and unfortunately, he's not here to tell me if I'm right or wrong. He's in Arlington Cemetery. But I remember they told him, he came out of Harlem. He graduated from Frederick Douglass High School. And they told him he scored too high on that test to have come from Harlem, and he had to take the test over, the AFAS test over. And you figure my husband had been in the Army, and he had been in Vietnam twice. He was airborne, he was paratrooper. So he wasn't stupid. You have to qualify on a test to do certain jobs in the military. But I remember when Ronald Reagan and George Bush said that. And then as we went through life there on the military base, those soldiers had to follow the law. Whatever, it came out of Congress, but whatever the president said, they had to respond to it. Mm-hmm. So I think about now, President 47, he respects nothing. Those soldiers lived by the Constitution. They followed the Constitution. That's law.
Some gave their lives.
Unfortunately, my husband passed, and he had been to Vietnam twice. And he died from the side effects of Agent Orange.
Wow.
He died in 2017. And every time that man mentioned Arlington Cemetery, he has no respect for my husband. So I am considered a old star wife, but I know he has no respect for me either. Mm-hmm. But I thank you for listening to me.
Well, I thank you for calling. It's real people's stories that mean the most to me on this show. And I think that is, wow. I think that, let me read a message. O.G. Kelly wrote on the messages that the one before that, I think says a lot. He says, Trump is so dumb because he has imposed tariffs on an island occupied by penguins and seals in the middle of nowhere, Antarctica somewhere. What are the penguins importing? This is true. I said this on Politics Nation the other night. He has put tariffs on islands where there are more animals than people. And this is the kind of things, Dr. Warren, you're referring to when we talk about human rights. When you do these blanket things, that's all he's doing, just blanketing certain things. There's not even any thought or intelligence put into it.
No, absolutely not. We know there's some intention on their part, but what appears as some of the intention seems nonsensical.
Right.
But the only thing I think, Rev, is that there are things that he's putting out there in front of us with one hand, and on the other hand, he's doing other things that are hurting people in a deep way. That's why I say you have to measure everything that comes out of his mouth, because everything that comes out of his mouth is not to be taken seriously, but watch the actions that take place. Watch what is being done, not just what is being said, because we've already discovered that oftentimes what he says does not come to fruition in reality. Now he's talking about maybe an extra 50% tariff. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, and he's just pulling the numbers out the sky.
Yeah, it's obvious. And this is the key moment where I've said it before on Keeping It Real, but this is the moment where I would love to hear Democrats across the board really speak to the Trump base, because what they're now realizing is that they're being hit hard by what he's doing as well.
That's right.
And I wish that would be a strategy. You don't even have to talk about Trump. Talk to the base of Trump about Trump and ask them, are they better now? Has he done what he said he would do? And if he hasn't done that in the process, he's hurt countless people and will continue to hurt. And it also feels like he doesn't care about the American economy right now.
He really doesn't.
These decisions, he cannot care. So who's in his ear? Who's making these decisions? Because we're watching this thing go down a spiral that can really lead to, at best, a recession. At worst, something horrendous.
That's right. Let's go to Al in Rochester, New York. Al.
Thanks for having me, Rev. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
I just wanted to comment. The elderly lady you spoke to earlier, the one said she was at the restaurant. young people weren't showing any respect for the elderly. And I agree with her 100%. Times have changed so much. And I just wanted your opinion. I'll give you an example. I was at the grocery store one time, accidentally bumped into a brother, said, "Excuse me." He looked at me like he wanted to kill me. So, I mean, what is it going to take, Rev, for our next generation to come together instead of attacking each other, falling for the okie doke, you know?
I think that it's going to take first of all, as a general community, standing up and confronting it. I think that how did we learn manners and respect and regard for the elderly and regard for our women in the first place? It was taught to us, and it was not allowed to be violated. We allow things too much. We have allowed the standards to be dropped, and I think that in order to reinforce it, we're gonna have to reestablish some order in the community, and I think that is, in many ways, I think, when I talk to a lot of young people, Al and Reverend Walron, they want somebody to establish some order. They just don't want to appear like they out of what is trendy. When I jumped on a lot of the rappers, and I met one of the big ones this week about the N-word, and I said to him, if you called Italians, Jews, gays, Irish out of their name, they would not let you record it. So what kind of low self-esteem do you have that you can use the N-word in the record and they'll put that out? I mean, have you ever thought about that? And he said, "Yeah, man, it ain't right, but I got to get a But you allowed them to do that to you. And then they get you out there attacking people like me for saying that they shouldn't be censoring you. I'm not censoring you. I'm trying to make some sense out of you. I was there with Michael Jackson when they made him go back in the studio and recut a record because he said something that they felt was anti-Semitic. And it wasn't. But he had to redo the record. But the same studio will let you call us the N-word all night. Do you have any self-respect?
Exactly. And another thing I wanted to mention, as you said, I'm much older than this gentleman. And, it just didn't make sense. He looked at me like he wanted to, do me harm and so forth. And, I said, well, let me just go with the flow, keep it moving, live to see another day, But when we were coming up, respect meant a lot, especially in the black community. Your parents, my parents didn't tolerate it, So I would say, like you mentioned, the young people, they got the right ideas, but they're taking the wrong approach at times, But that'll do it for me, Rick.
All right. Thank you for your call. And I think we're getting ready to go to break. And let's take the break. I'm getting on a Zoom. I'll be back with you. Dominique Shopton is in the bullpen. She's going to sit in for me if this Zoom comes through. And Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron is with us. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton. Be right back. Keeping it real. I had a thought this morning that I wanted to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors. But there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about it is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
I was going pretty long. Now we're ready for the sermon.
Welcome, Reverend Al Sharpton.
I think it's clear where we are. The real question is what we're going to do about it. The only question is whether we going to get up and do what we supposed to do. They never knew what a cell phone was. They took a telegraph machine and a rotary phone and broke down the walls of apartheid. And we're sitting here with Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and 2 cell phones in your pocketbook talking about what we gonna do. Something is weak and wrong with us. If we got 17 ways to communicate and they only had one way, yet they could pack out rallies every night. They could shut down bus companies. You got 17 ways, got 4 different cell phones, and can't get 5 Negroes together for a meeting. And we must have the self-respect.
Reverend Al Sharpton.
This ain't about whether you are militant or moderate. It ain't about what organization you do. You have enough respect for yourself?
Dr. Michael A. Warren's our co-host. Dominique and he will finish the show. Make sure you give the announcements, Dominique, about going to the websites to sign up to help with the boycott and August 28th, as well as a Saturday rally in Politics Nation. And Dr. Warren, tell us what's happening at FCBC.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. Walron. I hope you're doing well. It was good to see you so many times in the building throughout the convention. And oh my goodness, we are still, recuperating from all of the action that we had in New York this past week. But we know the action continues as we are a National Action Network. So as Rev said, make sure y'all are going to that website. We are a few days out from, of course, August 28th. We know that we are building up this momentum for this march. And as we are fighting to keep DEI alive, we want everyone involved to go to the website, to sign up, to volunteer, and to join us as we have a lot of work to do as we are holding corporations accountable for the policies that they're putting out, and also staying true to the action that we believe it's going to take for us to really, really see the impactful change that we know we can do collectively. So please go to the website, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and make sure you sign up to join the fight for justice in action. Let's go back to the phones, Reverend Walron. We got a couple of folks holding on I want to get to. Let's go to Chris on line 4, listening to us from Ohio on WERE. You're keeping it real, Chris. Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Just I got a couple quick comments if I can. I kind of wanted to ask Al something, but he's going out, but that's fine. The one is the state of the Democratic Party. I think a lot of people are hoping that they can come back into power, but I just truly believe the state of where they're at now, I think it'd be kind of purposeless of putting them back in office without an agenda to stop what's going on with the Trump administration. I think for one thing, I have a problem with how they're using black people as their face of how they're attacking Trump. On every side, they're using Ms. Crockett to be the spokesman. She's catching all this hell. She's being, threatened. Her life is being threatened. I know she's a strong young lady, but I have a problem with how they're using them. How they use the AG, the attorney generals, how they use the one in Georgia and the one in New York. All those are black people, and I think they're trying to make us put us as a target. I don't think that's right that they're using those people to be the targets of how they're attacking Trump. I think they have white and Jewish people that can come to the forefront, but I think they're afraid to lose their jobs in their states and in their areas, and so they're using our people to be the targets and the pawns for the things that they're doing. Second of all, the HBCUs. My son goes to a HBCU, goes to a pretty big HBCU. Go to Tennessee State, where they're being under attack by the state of Tennessee. he said there's nothing down there. No one's mobilizing them for anything. The Divine Nine, nobody's mobilizing these young students. I heard Reverend Al talk about, we need to do this and find a way to get. I heard somebody talk about the youth is scared of the elderly and whatever else. They don't, they're not respecting. No one is mobilizing the youth, and the best place to do it is our HBCUs, which are under attack. And that's what I wanted to ask Reverend Al. Why is nobody mobilizing the HBCUs? That's where our biggest and brightest are at. If you want to hit the youth, you should be hitting them first. They're the ones who are being attacked. Their scholarships are being taken away. Nobody's talking to their president. Where are the presidents of these HBCUs? The ones that was begging for money from over. Where are these presidents at? Somebody need to be mobilizing these universities. Those are to be our front line to get to the youth. If those are our future, why isn't nobody having boycotts and marches at these HBCUs? That's just a good question that nobody's answering. Because my son says nobody is saying anything down at Tennessee State University, where they're under attack. They're not even getting funding from the state that they already was owed, and now Trump is basically telling them not to give it to them at all. They're taking their scholarships, everything. I mean, do anybody got an answer for this?
I can give you an answer. So I think your statement, I understand your statement, but I think it's also a very broad statement in the sense of there are countless HBCUs that are, I'm a graduate of an HBCU that's doing some mobilization and getting students in. That's Morehouse College. I think the difference between the Morehouse and Tennessee State that Tennessee State is encountering, one of the challenges that that school is facing is that it is a state university. It is not a private HBCU, which is why they've been under attack in a different way. So you have to also account where state funding and also federal funding comes from these state institutions that put many of these state institutions in peril right now, and even some of the presidents. That is different from private HBCUs. So land-grant institutions, Tennessee State, North Carolina A&T, other schools are state HBCUs, state-funded HBCUs. And those funding spaces are coming under attack. On the flip side is that there's a lot of work going on at many campuses, but I think Tennessee State, as well as some other state schools, has some unique challenges that is putting some people in a very tough position right now, especially on the state level, and especially in states where the state house is led by Republicans, like Tennessee. So I think there's a lot of factors, but there's a big difference between the state-funded HBCUs and the private HBCUs, where a lot of different kind of work is taking place on many of those institutions.
I'm also feeling, and going to your first point, Chris, in terms of the Democratic Party utilizing pawns, I feel like there is a disconnect here, and you spoke to it, not to say you contradicted yourself, but I think you alluded to it, basically stating that, in all actuality, people of color are the most vulnerable. We're the ones that, when these attacks are happening, we live in the communities that's hit, the hardest in terms of, the reallocation of resources, or resources that we don't have or not seeing, resources that's being taken out of our communities and put elsewhere. So we are seeing the devastation of what's happening in this administration the most. And I don't feel that Democrats are utilizing people of color as pawns. I think it's necessary for us to see those, individuals who are speaking up and who are standing up for us. And they look like us. A lot of them look like us. And so I think that there's a correlation there. I don't feel that, and again, this is why we are organizing, to boycott and things like that, because we have to see a swell of action. And that takes us coming together in a collective in order to do that. And I feel that we should stop, blaming the Democratic Party, or you're not doing this, you're not doing that. We need to look at ourselves and say, well, look, we've got a lot of power collectively in our spending power, in how we are developing our communities, and how we are developing our institutions, our businesses, our schools, the church, very powerful institution. And so we need to galvanize our collective power in order to really deal with the systemic inequalities and deals that we're facing right now. And I feel like that's where we need to put our momentum.
Got you.
Thank you for your call, Chris. Let's go to Still Bill. Still Bill's listening to us from Cincinnati on the Buzz. You're keeping it real, Still Bill. Good afternoon, my brother.
Good afternoon, Miss Dominique Sharpen. I'm Still Bill, and I'm ready to keep it real. It is truly a pleasure to talk to you, and hello to you, guests. I want to give a shout to Lincoln Ware, 12:30 a.m. The Buzz, to which I listen to this excellent radio station, listen to this excellent show is what I mean. You are absolutely right. I mean, but also this is, too, that I see the big picture for what it is. I didn't get to call in Friday, April 4th. April 4th is where I definitely recognized the death of Martin Luther King Jr. Memphis, Tennessee. I was 7 years old when it happened. In Cincinnati, they tore up Avondale and everything. And my point is that we have sellouts. He dealt with sellouts to this day. And, I mean, you know, they grow every day. And, I mean, you know, I did not fall for the okie doke President Trump promising this, that, and the other. I knew better. And I voted for Kamala Harris because I felt she was the most experienced candidate. But, I mean, he stole the election, and we know what it is, but I'm really peeved at the sellout.
And we got to keep it real. We got to keep it real. Thank you, Still Bill. I got to leave it there. I hear that music. I want to thank y'all for calling in. Thank you, Reverend Michael A. Walron, for joining us as you do every Tuesday. Keep it real, my brother, and stay in the fight. I want to thank our executive producer, Fatim Muhammad, our technical producer, DJ Phil, and our phone tech and segment producer, DJ Wire. And remember, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton is on every Saturday and Sunday afternoon on MSNBC, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss it this weekend. And this Saturday action rally with the Reverend Al Sharpton will be live at the House of Justice this Saturday. You want to tune in starting at 9 o'clock on Facebook, and also at 10 o'clock we're on Impact Live. But check it out. And as Reverend Sharpton says, whatever you do, wherever you go, and however you feel, make sure you tell someone that he told you personally. Dominique told you personally. Reverend Walron told you personally. You got to keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. We'll talk with y'all tomorrow.
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the freedom.
I have a dream today.